I hope, my dear, you have ordered a good dinner today, because I have reason to expect an addition to our family party.
Well, you cannot mean Charlotte Lucas. I'm sure my day-to-day dinners are good enough for her. I do not believe she often sees such at home.
The person of whom I speak is a gentleman and a stranger.
It is Mr. Bingley, I'm sure. Why, Jane, you never dropped a word of this, you sly thing. Well, I shall be extremely glad to see Mr. Bingley. Good. Oh, how unlucky. There's not a bit of fish to be got today. Lydia, ring the bell. I must speak with Hill immediately.
It is not Mr. Bingley. It is a person I never saw in the whole course of my life.
Oh, tell her, Papa, tell her.
About a month ago, I received this letter. And about a fortnight ago, I answered it, for I thought it was a case of some delicacy in requiring early attention. It is from my cousin, Mr. Collins, who, when I am dead, may turn you all out of this house as soon as he pleases.
Dear, pray do not speak of that odious man. I do think it is the hardest thing in the world that your estate should be entailed away from your own children.
Mamma, the entail is hardly the fault of Mr. Collins.
It certainly is the most iniquitous affair, and nothing can clear Mr. Collins of the guilt of inheriting Longbourn. But if you will listen to his letter, I think perhaps you'll be a little softened by his manner of expressing himself. Hunsford, near Westham, Kent. Dear Sir, the disagreement subsisting between yourself and my late honoured father always gave me much uneasiness.
And since I have had the misfortune to lose him, I have frequently wished to heal the breach.
Fearing to seem disrespectful of my father's memory by being on good terms with anyone to whom it had pleased him to be at variance.
There, Mrs. Bennet. My mind, however, is now made up on the subject.
For having received my ordination at Easter, I have been so fortunate as to be distinguished by the patronage of the Right Honourable Lady Catherine de Bourgh, whose bounty and beneficence
has preferred me to the valuable rectory of this parish,
where it is my earnest endeavour to demean myself with grateful respect towards her ladyship,
to be ready to perform those rites and ceremonies which are instituted by the Church of England.
As a clergyman, moreover, I feel it my duty to promote and establish the blessing of peace in all families within the reach of my influence. And on these grounds, I flatter myself that my present overtures of goodwill are highly commendable.
If the circumstance of my being next in the entail of the Longbourn estate will be kindly overlooked on your side,
and will not lead you to reject the offered olive branch, I am, sir, keenly conscious of being the means of injuring your amiable daughters, and assure you of my readiness to make them every possible amends.
I propose myself the satisfaction of waiting on you and your family on Monday the 18th at 4 o'clock.
And shall probably trespass on your hospitality till the Saturday seven-night following.
And here he comes.
Well, if he's disposed to make our girls any amends, I shan't be the person to discourage him.
That is very kind of him, to christen, marry, and bury his parishioners whenever required.
But he must be an oddity, don't you think? Can you be a sensible man, sir?
Oh, I think not, my dear. Indeed, I have great hopes of finding him quite the reverse.
In point of composition, the letter he wrote father was not deficient.
May I compliment you, madam, on having so fine a family of daughters?
Thank you, sir.
I have heard much of their beauty, but in this instance, fame has fallen far short of the truth. I do not doubt but that you will in due time see them all well disposed of in marriage.
You are very kind, sir, I am sure. I wish with all my heart that it may be so, for else they will be destitute enough. Things are settled so oddly.
You allude, perhaps, to the entail of the estate?
Ah, sir, I do indeed. It is a grievous affair for my poor girls. Oh, not that I mean to find fault with you. Such things, I know, are all chance in this world. There's no knowing how estates will go once they come to be entailed.
But I am very sensible, madam, of the hardship to my fair cousins, and could say much on the subject. However, I'm cautious of appearing forward and precipitate. But I can assure the young ladies that I come prepared to admire them. At present, I will say no more, but perhaps when we are better acquainted.
Shall we perhaps go into dinner?
Oh, truly a gracious dining room. Even Lady Catherine de Bourgh would not be ashamed to dine here. For the chairs are a good enough match, and the table, though a trifle rustic, is solid and well made.
To which of my fair cousins should I compliment the excellence of the cooking?
Mr. Collins, we are perfectly able to keep a cook.
I did not mean to offend you.
I'm not at all offended, I assure you.
You would be justified in taking offence. It was an unpardonable suggestion.
He will now apologise for a quarter of an hour.